Hey everybody, it's your monster back again with Oppas Gaming, and I'm back for another episode of the podcast. I'm joined again with Tusa. As you guys have seen in the past episodes, we have two new guests today. We have a couple more of our teammates and friends. Today we're bringing on Austin, which you guys will probably know from the channel from the Mirage Galgamon deck profile and just like some of the playtesting games. But we have a really special friend here. Carl, do you want to introduce yourself and talk about a little bit
Hey
about what you
everyone.
do?
Hi everyone. My name is Neon Omen, also Carl, of course. That's the real name. Anyways, I'm another content creator just like Opus Gaming John made over there. So I cover Bandai games also. I do Battle Spirits, do a little Battle Spirit Saga. Also, of course, Digimon. That is kind of what we do, and we play at the same card shop, and of course, you'll see each other in our videos and in our content. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely, super happy to have you. I know one of my favorite things whenever I jump over your channel is that you're always building some fun Japanese Battle Spirits decks on live. So that's something super interesting. So for all my Battle Spirits friends out there, go check out his channel for sure. But jumping into the podcast, kind of jumping into what we talk about every week, how has everybody's week been as far as card games? Just either playing casually, at tournaments, out with your friends, or wherever. What have you guys been up to this week?
For me, I have been recently been chilling a bit on Digimon locals,
Mm.
just because not a lot of the homies have been going. So yeah, and also just been a little burnt. So I've been trying to take it a little easy, just so that I can still at least constantly be playing, but still enjoy it at the same time. I still go Fridays just because it's TCG and always love to support them. And then on Wednesdays, I just casually play Commander Magic now with one of our friends, Preston.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that you got into Magic. That's super interesting. How has
Yeah.
the metas been for those games that you're playing right now? Do you have a favorite that you are enjoying?
For Magic specifically, we're just taking it super casually. We don't go to any locals. We just meet up at Preston's house and we just get some structure decks and just kind of play it from there.
Yeah.
Just so that it's more of an even playing field and stuff like that, and trying to also save a bit of money as
Yeah, no,
well.
for sure.
But for Digimon locals, I've been mainly just been playing Belphimon. Uh, I've been actually enjoying it a little bit because it's a little different than my normal playing blue decks.
Hmm.
I also have always been wanting to play it this set, but I couldn't pull any rage modes for the longest time. So then I ended up trading to get some more, and then now I've been just bringing it to locals.
Nice. Nice. That's actually really sweet. Neon, how about you? What have you been up to? Because I haven't seen you in person in a little while, huh? So this is going to be a good catching up phase.
I'm actually in a really interesting phase when it comes to trading card games right now. I'm actually doing like a step back right now. I'm kind of doing a retreat from locals right now. I'm trying to figure out because like Digimon and Battle Spirits, they both have a lot of online events. So I'm trying to reconfigure the way that I play card games right now, and I'm trying to figure out what time I have necessarily for locals versus, let's say, online tournaments. Let's say you got the regional qualifiers, or they have, I forgot the name of those special tournaments with Digimon where they only have the one Ultimate Cup, I think it
Mm-hmm.
is. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to reconfigure, but then I'm also preparing myself for Battle Spirits, the game that I play for the Japanese side. They have a new Godzilla collaboration coming out at the end of September, so I'm saving up to buy a carton of that with Jet Saber. So we're about to go in and buy a whole case of Battle Spirits cards. So I've kind of been having to learn how to budget between Saga, Battle Spirits, and Digimon, and that takes a lot of effort. So right now I'm stepping back from, I guess, the American local scene, and I'm just planning on spending money on the Japanese scene.
No, for sure. That's actually really, really interesting. I know you do love your Japanese battle spirits, so it's good to see you getting into that a
Oh,
little bit and looking forward to it. Too, so how about you? I know there's actually something interesting that I know that you've been playing that I want to ask you about, but how's your week been?
Yeah. Let's see. Digimon, I've been taking a break from Digimon since Gen Con. The format's been pretty much done and solved from there, and no more big events with PG-13. So me and my brother took a break from that.
Mm-hmm.
Same with One Piece. After I did the in-person regionals, just taking a break until the next set. So then, to kill time, me and my brother had just been playing more Con for the last 2 weeks.
How
But
has
then,
it?
Lookhout's good, but then we just stopped playing it, so we just sold our stuff in preparation for One Piece.
Oh snap! I didn't know that you stopped playing it. No, that's fair. I know that Lorcana has been just like the fire game going on for a little while now. So, for me personally, I'm kind of in the same boat as all of you guys, where I'm kind of taking a step back, especially since we're talking about Digimon today. So that's the first and foremost. I haven't been to a card shop though for locals in a little while. I went yesterday for One Piece though. I went and played One Piece on the Saturday locals at Bio Card Games, and that was really really fun. But outside of that, I've been playing a lot of Discord, and we're just back onto our favorite games right now. I'm playing Dragon Ball Super like crazy. We just got set 22, and I just revamped my SS4 Bardock deck, which a lot of people will like scoff at and say this trash, but I promise you I've got just like this disgusting little plan going with the deck right now, which is fun. And then I've also been diving into playing like lots of my blue decks in that game. So Dragon Ball Super right now is actually just in a really good place. We got the announcement of Dragon Ball Fusion, which is going to be coming, or Fusion World maybe, which is coming out I think like next year or the year after that or something. But it's just really nice. Dragon Ball's in a good place. There's lots of cards coming out that are really spicing up the meta, and it's been so enjoyable playing on Discord and everything. But the other game I've been playing on Discord like crazy has been Battle Spirits. I've been just on the set 2 train. I haven't gotten that much product yet, but I've been just made all the decks that I can for the set, and just been grinding out just weird Whirlpool Axe Spider builds, right? Just so far. But I actually have a present coming from my friends over at Boss TCG with a pack of Star Dragon cards. So we're going to be seeing my set 2 Star Dragons build here coming up pretty soon, and I'm just crazy excited. Because everybody's like, because me and Neon were having a little conversation before the podcast started about how White is just crushing it in today's Grand Open, right? But I definitely have a strategy that's just gonna stop all of that. So I'm really, really excited to get it testing. It's got a really interesting lineup, but not just talking about Battle Spirits and Dragon Ball. As far as Digimon has been going, I've just been enjoying. I played a little bit of playtesting with Newt this past week. Actually, we did some Alphamon versus Bloomlord, and it's really nice jumping back into playing a little bit of Bloomlord because it's like riding a bike, right? Once you summon out 4 Digimon off a Sunflowmon combo, it feels like you never left, and it's great. So that's been a really, really fun part of it. But today's episode is all about Digimon, just in case nobody's picked up yet, right? We have RBL 1 coming out, and we have a little bit of time. We're all a little bit done with the BT13 meta, so it's something that we're going to be doing interesting. Today is going to be a full set review with the Oppas, so we're all going to be just kind of giving our responses to seeing a lot of these cards, and I know I can say that I haven't looked at this set at all. I know one card in it, and that's like the Dire Rabbitmon. I don't know what its effect is, but I know it's got like a pretty decent green effect, so I can't wait to give like my opinion on the green side of things. But for you guys, before we get into the set review, is there anything that you guys have caught wind of, or that you've seen, or that you know about that you guys are all looking forward to?
So it has a lot of crap secrets.
Okay, fair.
Are you talking about specifically towards the reprint, or just like
Either side.
Yeah, because I think it's like what 6 secrets and like 5 more reprints, but they kind of.
It's just like yeah. Since the set is so much reprints, one thing I'll note on really quick is once we do get to the reprint cards, we'll be giving our opinions more from like, is the art good? Are we excited to see it? Is this reprint worth it? Right? Not so much like if the card's good, because we all know TK and Time, those types of tamers are really really good. But
yeah, I mean for me, was it coming into Digimon? It was my first card game, and I had started around EX2, so I didn't really have any of the older cards coming into the game. So a lot of the decks that I haven't been able to play, I should be able to play now just because of the reprints. So as much as I understand some people were like not excited for it, I'm also like, I can finally get my playset of Magnas for not $20 each, you know?
no, I totally get that. 100% nice. How about you guys? Are you guys just like me and not looked at anything in the set yet?
I've looked at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not excited for it, honestly. I mean, see, okay, so part of it, so there's two things. A, the Ghost Game IP. Oh my gosh, was that fumble? Don't get me started on the actual Ghost Game anime, the Ghost Game story. That makes me sad. But the second part, aside from all the anime stuff, the set's just weird. You really get your 3 main characters, and then you just get a bunch of reprints. I know that the set is going to have a lot of hollow reprints, which that could be exciting.
Right.
I remember watching the Japanese opening of it, and it's all like the textured style. So I remember seeing I think it's the Rise Greymon that has the Digiburst, and seeing that with the textured foil, like the starter deck textured foil. It looks pretty. I mean, the foil is beautiful, but I feel like there's nothing that's really going to motivate me to buy it. It's not a set that I feel like is going to hold its value, and I feel like bulk piles are going to accumulate really fast to this set.
Okay, okay, that's really, really interesting. That's definitely something we're actually going to be circling back at the end and talking about, so we'll all be able to give our opinions on that. But how about for you two? So you got anything that you're looking forward to for the set?
You know, I kind of feel the same way. You know what? I'll just play like the Gamma line because it's new and different. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you Owen said, right? It's not really a set I want to buy because it's almost a reprints.
Of like cards that you already have, right? And lots of us, we've been playing
Yeah,
the game
right.
we've been playing the game for so long, so it truly is a bit different. But yeah, we'll just get into the not into the reprints. We'll get into the set right now. But the first card that we have here is gonna be Gurimon, so it's gonna be a brand new red egg, and it says for the inheritable, your turn once per turn when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, draw one card. So is that just for the new line? I'm assuming for new effects for the Gamamon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
imagine
That's
so.
the mechanic.
Yeah, I don't really know what other red decks would be sourcing stuff underneath themselves. So yeah.
Not
You
without.
like Ragnar? You wouldn't play that Ragnar though.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't-
true. Yeah, no. I guess. Yeah, you probably can't even really do it with like a red-based Machine Dramon list. Because is there any such thing as red-based Machine Dramon?
With Guilmon, I know some people played with it with red, but I don't think they actually went up the line like current Machine Dramon.
Yeah, no, totally. That's interesting. All right. So what we can do is for all these cards, since we have the Cracked or Whack rating system on the YouTube Shorts, you guys want to give a quick Cracked or Whack rating on the card overall, on if you think it'll be worth it, just for these new cards, since we only have a few on the first page.
I would
With it.
say
Hmm.
it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say because it's so niche, right?
Yeah, I want to say
Very.
for the deck, it probably is cracked, but outside of the deck, it's pretty whack.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
like
really
a
see it
generic
being
egg.
used in any other deck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
Couldn't say it better myself. It definitely fits one line, and right now it seems like it's only going to benefit one deck. I mean, I know we're only BT13, BT14 overall in the game's life, but I don't think there's any deck that it complements prior to this, and right now it just seems like the RB1 deck. That's it.
that's about it. No, fair. Yeah, we'll probably just see this with Gamelon. So perfect. Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
can look at the. Oh, sorry, Tusi, you can go.
No, not much to add on. I definitely agree with you guys.
I guess one thing I could say is I know in EX5 we get the blue red deck, and I know they source themselves underneath each other. So maybe you could do that for the draw effects, but I don't know if that deck also specifically has an egg for it. But it could technically work, I think, unless you are worried about digivolving on top of with a blue rookie or something like that. But yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting note for sure. Cool, cool. Yeah, we'll move on to the next egg. We'll look at what number 2 is, and it looks like it's a Piyuyomon, if that's how you pronounce that. When attacking once per turn, by trashing one blue card in your hand, trash one Digivolution card from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. That card, I'll respond first. I actually kind of like that, because we don't have a proper egg. I think the only one that we have is level limited, right? For blue, at least.
Oh, we have Wanya. Wanya is just blue if you have a blue tamer. So
Yeah, draw a card.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean for the trashing Digivolution source decks.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
one
no.
egg that trashes. I think it trashes from a level 4 or lower. But if you can trash from any level 6, Digimon is a game where you have plentiful cards in hand, so you can just get rid of the sources and turn on your effects faster.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. No, we have Kiaruna, I think, but that one's like draw if you remove a source, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From opponent's Digimon. Yeah, nothing that actually. I don't think there's any eggs I could think of that really affects your opponent's Digimon.
Yeah, I guess like when you're looking at these kinds of effects, lots of times you really just kind of source them under like hexablau dot card effect, right? But I do like this one for trashing
Yeah.
sources.
Yeah, I think so too. I can maybe see it being put into a little bit more or some other blue decks, but I don't know. There hasn't really been that many blue decks that have been stripping sources as much.
Yeah, the last one that we saw was probably like hexablau specifically, right?
Yeah.
Except for like some blue flare lists that do it a little bit, but no, I think that it's yeah, it's part just one of those cards that are part of blue's mechanic, right? Like green has suspending and digisorption and stuff. Blue has resource gaining from draws and memory gain, but they also have source trashing. So yeah, no, I like this card. I'll definitely give it a cracked rating because it actually is a generic egg. Like it's the first egg that is kind of just in the pool of blue cards. If this is ever something that you need to do or want to do for any situation.
Yeah, I can imagine putting it maybe like as a fifth egg or yeah, maybe as a fifth egg for some decks. I think it really depends though on
Mm-hmm.
what decks you're playing.
I would absolutely put that card in as a tracked rating. See, blue is the one color I feel like that has like this really niche ability, which is source stripping or source manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the designers are so careful with blue because I feel like it's just gonna make one Digimon
Yeah.
or one Tamer for all of that to actually still be relevant. Because you look at a lot of the blue stuff. I mean, Soul Rise as an option card is relevant because it can do stuff. What was it, Tommy and like Kumamon?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Those used to
Mm-hmm.
be relevant, and like that was good. But then you look at like everything else that's blue that deals with sources, it's very rarely ever meta. I mean, they tried really hard with this last Imperial Dramon deck that they made,
Yeah,
and
they did.
what was it? And it just doesn't. It's just not good enough yet. And then you look at the way that they're starting to make cards and decks right now. Look at the new Dark Masters where you place things in raising. Look at the Devas. Look at the Royal Knights where there's a lot of Digimon that you don't rely on sources. So who knows? Maybe they'll start making blue deal with that a little bit more strictly,
Mm-hmm.
but as of right now, I feel like it's there's so much potential where blue could go. So that Digitama, that Digiegg, that Puyoyomon, it definitely could have potential. It's just waiting to get exploited. So I'll definitely say cracked for the potential.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there, totally. How about you,
Yeah.
Tusa?
It's it's good in the deck, and it's only really good like mid to late game. Because early game, do you really want to neg a card, right? Because early
Mm-hmm.
game, what you want to do is get more cards. So would you trade off a Wanyama to give you a draw, or would you want to use this like mid game to just trash one if it matters? But yeah, it's good in the deck,
Mm-hmm.
and the archetype is for
Yeah, I think honestly, the more I think about it, um, I can imagine, like I said, throwing it as like a fifth egg for was it for blue flare? Because I can just imagine like the mid to late game, say your opponent is at their level 4 or 5, and you're just like, shit, I can't like stun it because they have enough sources and I can't do anything. It's like, oh, I'll just raise with my rookie, swing, strip a source. Now I can stun it finally because they're down source.
Yeah.
I can imagine the situations like that almost, but I would say it's good. I would say I would, it's also a weird situation. It's good, but also not for every blue deck. Like not every blue deck's gonna switch to this egg. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like if you're looking at it in the context of what it's doing right now, I definitely don't think it'll do anything right now. But yeah, no. I just one of those things, right, where some cards come in, some cards out. It just really depends on the meta game. If this ever really hard counters a deck, like in the future, we could see it come in, but we let's look at the next color. I'm seeing the peak of it right now and I can tell that it's a green egg. So I'm super excited for this. Definitely be giving my opinions. We have Bossamon. So your turn, while your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon in play, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. Green has always had this like weird relationship with DP boosting eggs and like triggering effects, especially triggering effects that suspend down your opponent's Digimon. And with this one being so fickle, like if your opponent plays out two Digimon on their turn and then you only have one suspend, even in the most consistent deck, you can just run into a dead end. And we have like some options for decent DP boosting eggs, especially eggs coming in the future, right? So with RBO1 being kind of like a side set, we're right coming out right before BT14. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much greatness in this egg.
No, I don't think so. I feel like you'd rather just get like the draw effects from like Kokomon or from like I forget. I think it's like BT11's green egg where it's like if you play a green tamer, draw a card
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah, I think we'll give this one a resounding whack for sure. We can go on to the next card for sure because I think that this one is this one a reprint? This Agumon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
read what they say on them. It's weird.
also treat this card as if the card number is P009. Okay, so I see which one this one is. Yeah, and you may only have 4 copies of. Yep. So they have to list the ruling on the card just because it's I guess it's printed with a different with the RB text, which makes sense because in the rule book it says by the card number. So that's a good disclaimer to have. But this one is the your turn while this Digimon has Greymon in its name. It gets plus 2,000 DP. This card is so important. Is it still played in Greymon decks like Blackboard Greymon, Tusa? Because I know
I
it
think a
was for
lot
a
of
little
people
while.
I think some people are moving away from DP boost and going into the search cards, or they're playing the 1K boost on all turns. But it depends on variants. But I don't see many people playing it. And in the new set in 14, you don't play this one because there's like another one that does it better.
Okay. So are they just giving it to us because it's now finally power corrupt?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The card's pretty cheap now too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. With it being a promo card, I'm not mad with any cards getting reprinted. So that's kind of just nice in general. But how about you guys? How do you guys feel about this Agumon?
I mean, it's like a bit of a shame because how Tusa said, not a lot of people are playing this specific Agumon anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know for the longest time, like I remember talking to Tusa about it, where I was just like, I really want to play Greymon, but I'm missing this promo that every build is playing for this. But
Mm-hmm.
since now we're leaning towards away from it, it's kind of like a little too late now. Don't really want to play it.
I agree with that. I'm gonna say I feel like a lot of these reprints that we're going to talk about very, very soon are out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these reprints are out of touch. They already have other reprints, or they're gonna have other reprints coming shortly that are, I guess, higher rarity that are gonna be wanted even more, like the new parallel memory boosts that are gonna be coming out in the gift set.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna want those a lot more than these standard ones. And then even now when you look in other Tamers trades, you see a lot of those standard memory boosts as trades. So it feels like memory boosts are already things that are or they're cards that are already out. There's a lot of them out there. So it feels like a lot of these cards don't need to be collected, and it feels like there's a lot of filler. Yeah, you get some new art. Yeah, I guess you get the new naming structure with how the sets are going to be and how it can be included or whatnot. I feel like they're really, really trying hard to make this set relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, I just need to drop like probably before BT13, right? More so than anything. Because we've known
I'd
about
agree
this
with
set for
that.
so long. It's been known, and with it not being like too, it didn't power creep anything really so far. So no, I think it just needs to come sooner.
Yeah, I would just say the card itself before was pretty cracked, but now it's pretty whack to get it now,
You
just
know,
with timing and everything,
yeah,
and with how Bandai is. It's Agumon's their child, so literally like every set there's got to be some type of Agumon support. So it's like, all right, we're already on to the next new thing, so don't really need this one anymore.
no, that's very true. Yeah, this one was, I think Dion put it perfectly, where it's just a bit out of touch. So yeah, we're not too excited for this one. Moving on to the next one. Let's see who we have next. So this card, it does have the same little text on it, so it is another reprint, and it's your turn. While you have a red tamer in play, this Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Has this Gamamon ever done anything?
Uh,
Or was it like a promo or anything that was hard to get?
it it was
No,
not.
it's easy to get.
It was a pretty I remember when we started getting the Gamamon support, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw some decks running this. I'm like, bro, I got like 8 of these from like, like from when was it when TTT were giving out promos? They're like, hey, do you want this or this? I'm like, I probably will need this. And I just took 4, and I was like, all right, I got playset now.
Yeah, there you go.
So it was a pretty easy Gamamon to get. I think the other one that gives the DP boost probably would have been a better one to get, just
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm.
there was less of those given out. But yeah, that's where I stand at least with the card.
I would say one thing that's nice about it is at least if you do buy like a box of this, if you're like a new player or whatever, you're just excited for some new product for whatever reason. I think it's nice that you can at least build the deck out with just the booster cards. You don't even have to go out and get like old singles that are, even if they are pretty easy to get. So maybe somebody opening this will just like have all RBO1 cards and just play their RBO1 Gamma deck. So I guess that's a little bit nice that it's a bit self-contained, but the benefits are far and few between for sure. So what is the next Gamamon? Or is that even a Gamamon that's the next card there?
That's a the next card. Oh, I might have skipped a card. I definitely did just skip a card. We definitely had one before.
Oh yeah, we'll check out that one.
You want to just
The
go
other
ahead?
Gamamon.
Yep, we'll
Oh,
check out
why
the
don't you
other
show it?
Gamamon.
Okay.
The new one.
So this one is a new Gamamon. This one is on play. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Gamamon in text and 1 hero. Okay, Ama Nokawa. Among them to your hand. Place the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. Inheritable effect. While this Digimon has Gamamon in its text, gain plus 2,000 DP. I mean, this
Oh,
card's
look.
decent, right? It's just a searcher for the deck.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think the deck itself before it didn't have a searcher, so this is really nice. I would say.
Is this the first card
Yeah.
that searches hero by name?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Everything else has been like the level 4s for like what we revealed. I don't remember any Gamamons coming out outside of BT8 since last time, and like the promos, and I don't think any of those were searchers. From what I remember at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have pictures.
Yeah. So I think it's needed.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I guess, Tusa, Neon, do you guys have anything you want to add?
Yeah, they definitely need this Gammon. That's exactly what they needed. They needed a searcher to make it more viable, and they got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to notice a trend with this game where they're making these archetypes way more consistent, and it feels like a lot of the archetypes. I don't want to say that the game's getting really cookie cutter, but it feels like the rookie will search it's in its Digivolution line, I guess, to the show or whatnot. It'll search the next levels and the tamers, and then it feels like the champion plays the tamer if you don't have the tamers. I'm starting to see that trend in this game a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Yet. How I feel about it, because I'm part of me is like, I like the consistency. I feel like it helps your combos come out more consistently and a lot easier, but then at the same time, it speeds up the game a lot more. And if you don't hit those, I mean, the amount of advantage that you can get if you're able to play tamers for free on turn 2 and your opponent doesn't, and you're still able to choke your opponent, I feel like that can be very detrimental in the game. So I think getting those cards are really important. And especially when you look at all these new decks that are coming out, these search a possible of 2 cards, absolutely 4 ofs in those decks. I'm glad that all these ghost game lines are getting these cards, and I feel like these are going to be important for any deck played moving forward.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think one thing, touching on the card design aspect of it and looking at coming from building a card game that they want to be here for a long time coming, and for supporting new players, it is nice just seeing them flushing out more and more archetypes, right? Because like we were saying earlier, all it takes is 1 card and 1 archetype or 1 type of card to come out to really bring an archetype into the meta, or to bring a card into the meta, right? So just having options for things for future sets and stuff like that, I think the Gamamon line is definitely something that's just nice to see continue to be developed. So Definitely a cracked card coming into the set, and it's really really nice to see at least one really good effect right in the RVO1 set coming out. But we'll move
Yep.
on to the next card here.
Okay.
It'll be the level 4,
Um,
the next
yep.
one. Yep.
The Greymon.
So we'll be looking at the Greymon here, and I see the text here. So this will be a reprint, and the effect is your turn when this Digimon has an Agumon in its Digivolution cards, gain security check +1. How do you guys feel about this?
Or sucks.
Yeah. Imagine just playing against like Royal Knights, and then you play this card, and you're just like, well, I know he's definitely not swinging because it will die for sure the first check. Yeah, no, it's whack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's good.
No, we can just move on to the next card then.
Okay.
I totally agree. Though, yeah, no, it's not too great of a card. Looking here, we have. Is this card a reprint or is this new?
Nope, it's new.
Nice. So this is gonna be Batel Gamamon. Digivolve 2 from Gamamon. Raid. When this Digimon attacks, you may switch the attack target or the target of the attack to one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. When digivolving, if you don't have a Hero Okinawa in play, you may play a Hero Okinawa without paying its memory cost. So, exactly what you were talking about, Carl.
Yeah. It's always the searcher, then go to 4 plays Tamer, and then kind of just going from there. But I really feel like it does because all the heroes that we have are 4 costs. I'm pretty sure there's no 3 costs, so he is a pretty expensive tamer, especially with how little memory some decks are giving us nowadays. I feel like.
Yeah, dual
Wait,
value.
I think there is a 3-cost tamer. I think it's the security. It gives you security +1.
Is that 3 costs? I thought that was.
Yeah, I think it's the 3-cost.
Okay, yeah.
I know
That's
the
also
3
promo
cost one
so
came out
I've
in
never
that
seen it.
tournament pack.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, I like this one. It's kind of just exactly what we were saying earlier. It just fleshes out the archetype, right? It's a pretty decent effect. It's really good tempo. I think it's interesting to think about cards committing to the board at level 4 because it's kind of like a half commitment, right? Level 4s are the second highest, usually when you're looking at the ratio of cards in deck. Level 4s are usually the second highest number of cards that you have in deck, right next to your rookie. So if you commit a 4 onto board and then on the next turn you have the memory to be at 3 and you can just rebuild and raising and set your level 5 and raising, you pretty much don't miss a step and get a Digimon on board. So this card definitely speeds up, or this type of card, right? These effects speed the game up a little bit, but we'll give it a cracked rating since it's just kind of fleshing out the archetype and it's just a decent card altogether. And we'll look at the next one here.
Yeah, and just like raid mechanic is good to have.
Yeah, raid is
Oh yeah,
pretty good in general. So we're looking at Cannel Weissmon. This card is Digivolve 3 from level 4 if name contains Gamamon. Your Gamamon that has a card effect with Gamamon in its name and its Digivolution cards can Digivolve into this card in your hand for a Digivolution cost of 3, ignoring Digivolution requirements. All turns, this Digimon gains all effects of cards with Gamamon in their names in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. And then inheritable effect, all turns, this Digimon gains all effects of all cards, including Gamamon in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. What do you guys think?
So much
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a lot of text, yeah, you're right. You're right, Austin.
It also blends in with the background, so that's not helping.
But, yeah, no. Tuso, why?
It's pretty good because the whole Gamma archetype, the whole gimmick is to tuck in more Gammas underneath it. So getting a Gamma with the Gamma underneath it is not that hard. And the level 5s for the whole archetype is like the same effects, right? All turns, it gains all the effects of all the Gammamon, so that part is very generic for all the 5s. But the badness is already pretty good. They can work from a 3 to the 5 for 3.
Have any of you guys played this archetype before? I know that I've never played Gamamon. It was pretty popular, though, for one set.
I wouldn't think it would be. It didn't. There was no top end before this. There was no level 6. Was it? The last Weissmon we got was BT 10, and our first Gamamon we got was BT 8. Unless the promo set came out first. So for 2 sets, it didn't even have a 5 either. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I personally have not touched the Gamamon line.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like I said, I haven't either. But I do like the double effect. I was just wondering if they had a card that had the same effect where it gains its all of the effects underneath, but also the level 6 on top of it does. But since you're saying that they didn't have a level 6 on before, I'm assuming that it didn't.
Yeah, all the level 5 Gamons evolutions, they have like various forms. They all have the same effect, right? All turns gain the effects of the Gamon underneath it.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
I forget. For the your Gamamon that has a card with Gamamon in its name and its Digivolution, does that imply the level 3 can just warp to level 5? I forget.
Yeah, you could, because
Mm-hmm.
you could tuck in sources underneath your Gamamons. I think it's through the tamer.
Yeah, yeah. The Tamer is like start of main, tuck it underneath, and then gain a memory, like tap it to gain a memory or something like that. So, I think it's pretty cracked. Honestly, it's. I don't even think the previous Kanto Swiceman did anything similar to that. So it's good to see that you can at least get tier 5 a lot quicker, and you can at least it forces you or not forces you. It pushes you to want to set up more instead of trying to just rely on your level 4s to be just constantly swinging or using your level 4s.
Yeah, looking at the other cards, it looks like that's the big allure of this card, right? Because it does. The other ones do have the inheritable effect too, so they all do the same thing. But this one being able to warp from the 3 is probably just a lot faster to go into your line. So no, I like that as well.
Yeah.
We'll give it a cracked rating, just flushing out the archetype again. So we'll look at the next one. And this is our first level 6 for this deck that we were just mentioning. So this card is Seriesmon. Digivolve 3 from level 5 of Gamamon in its text. When Digivolving, by placing a Digimon card with Gamamon in its text from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. Your turn. Once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. It's nice to have a level 6 for the deck finally.
Yeah.
I know like the builds that I have seen that did try playing it without the level 6 or playing like War Greymon and stuff like that as a top end or like Dorbickmon because Dorbick can apply all the level 4s to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's good to finally see a level 6 that actually works well with the deck.
Like, the only thing that I don't like about the card is its stats. I like the 11 play cost, but it should definitely have 12k as a base attack power, just because even with the 2k boost that you can get from, like, the Gamomon that we saw earlier, I don't think a lot of the cards boost the attack, and with the DP base effect in a red deck, you would definitely want it to be kind of as high as possible. Even for the 3 Digivolution cost, I think that it could have been better in that sense, but yeah, no, it's just nice.
Yeah.
We just didn't have a level 6 for the deck, so it's in archetype, and it's just kind of the first one, so it's fine enough for now. But we can give it a like well, unless Carl, did you have anything?
I'm kind of so. Does this Gamamon deck feel like a? I don't want to say a poor attempt, but maybe or even a lazy attempt, but maybe a less inspired attempt to create something that's similar to the Tamer's save mechanic. Because there's a lot of tucking that goes on and a lot of source space effects that go on. And then you look at the way that a lot of these save decks work, where they just, every single time something happens to your Digimon, you just think of a way to use them later.
Mm-hmm.
This Gamamon deck feels like you're trying to get like this perfect stack almost underneath this, maybe like X antibody similar, where you need this perfect stack or whatnot for you to go in and get all these effects. So I'm curious to know how aggressive you're going to be able to be with this mechanic, because at least like within the save, if your Digimon dies, you don't lose everything to the trash. It just goes under your tamers, and you can bring them out again and again and again. I'm curious to see how the resource management works in these Gamamon decks, and to see how consistent they can be and how they work with card advantage. I mean, looking at the way that the meta works right now, you look at Mirage Gaugamon. The more cards that you have in your hand, the almost the worse off that you're going to be. So some of these decks that are faster, that accumulate a lot of cards too, I think you're going to have to respect some of the other cards in the meta as well.
No, I completely agree. I think that it can totally open up a hole for it to be really susceptible to any type of removal, right? If you have to tuck in all of your Digivolution source effects to gain everything, but So what are we thinking, you guys? Well, what would you guys rate it? Tuesday, you can do this one.
But this guy,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's pretty good because the tamers let you tuck in more source underneath this. You can get more boosters from the Gamons, and all the heroes give you like some kind of DP boost, so you can vote for 3 and kill something pretty big too. And it is a mega that they need too. Something pretty good.
Yeah, I would say it's good as well because just how Tuesday just brought out, even the tamers as well give DP boost. The BT8 hero, when you tap it, you get another plus 2,000 DP. So if you put it with this current Gamamon, or I believe the tournament or the promo Gamamon that also gives plus 2,000, you're at least swinging 15k. So that's something there, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. We can move on to the next card now.
Mm-hmm. Jellymon.
Cool. So this is going to be Jellymon. This one looks like it's going to be new. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with Jellymon in its card text. And 1 Kiriyoshi, Higashir... We were just going to call it Kiriyoshi. Among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Inheritable effect. Your turn, once per turn. When you trash a card in your hand, using your own effect, gain 1 memory.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much just Gamamon, but
Yep.
but
Yeah.
with a different
With the gain memory effect.
Yeah, gain memory.
That's not bad
I would say just cracked. It's needed in the deck. I don't think. I know for sure Jellymon didn't have a searcher either. They always had like the baseline like evade or I think jamming maybe, but I could be wrong on that part.
No, I totally agree. I think we've said everything that needs to be said about like the generic end searchers for the decks, where they just kind of flush out an archetype, and we just don't have these cards before. So it'll be interesting to see how they all kind of mesh together. But let's look at the level
I
4s.
think it's. Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's just a needed consistency with the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're obviously gonna play a 4 of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's perfectly fine.
Totally agree. Yeah. And with the next one, it looks like we have a level 4, and this is going to be Kaus Gamamon. Digivolve 2 from a Gamamon. It's just got evade, so if this Digimon would be deleted, you may suspend it to prevent that card's deletion. Is this like a really needed part to the Gamamon line to like keep? I guess it's kind of its protection, right? So we just said it was susceptible to the protection or to the deletion effects because you lose all the inheritables. But if you have Kaus Gamamon or Gamamon in your inheritables, you dodge that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I guess it is. It's its form of protection. Yeah, especially if you pass turn. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's like a good name to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forget there was another Chaos Gamamon. I forget what it was. I think it was like can't be blocked or something like that.
jamming or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It had some weird effect because it was like can't be blocked. It was like some type of like fly mechanic or something like that. I don't remember.
Interesting.
It was a really weird effect. So I remember seeing it and I was like, I don't remember it. I could be crazy. I really could just be crazy. I don't remember it. I'm pretty sure it did some type of effect like that though, where it's like can't be blocked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if someone else could double check that or not.
I'll look into it. We'll look into it later. I think that we'll just give this one a cracked rating because it's just filling.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just can't be blocked.
Yep.
It can't
No,
be blocked.
it can't be blocked. Okay. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the green one has an unsuspend effect since green has so many effects like that. But
yeah, they have a lot of effects.
mm-hmm. Cool. We'll look at the next card.
Yep.
And then we have Tesla Jellymon. We have a level 4 here when digivolving. If you don't have a Kiyoshira card in play, you may play one from your hand without paying its memory cost with the inheritable effect. Your turn once per turn. When you trash a card in your hand using your own effect, gain a memory. So it's nice stacking those on top of each other, the 3 to the 4.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, pretty much same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Needed pretty much
Super needed
for the deck.
tempo for sure. We'll give it a cracked rating, and then we can look at the level 5 since those ones are so generic. This one's going to be the new Thetismon. This being the new level 5, when digivolving, you may trash up to 2 blue cards from your hand. For each card trashed by this effect, you may choose one Digivolution card under one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers and trash it. Then one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with no Digivolution cards can't be suspended until the end of your opponent's turn. With the inheritable effect, end of attack once per turn by returning 3 cards with Jellymon in their card text from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, unsuspend this Digimon. I really like this. This is a powerful effect for the deck, 100%. You're turning on both of those inheritable effects that we just read over. So you're just going to be gaining 2 memory to go into your level 5, and then on top of that, you're getting to trash Digivolution cards on your opponent's Digimon. So it's just part of the gimmick, right? So you're going to be messing up, like if you're playing against a green deck, for example, you're going to be messing up those free Digivolutions in like a Rosemon deck or in a Bloomlord deck. So they're not going to be able to consistently get those. There's going to be no more Argomons, no more plus DK, or DP boosts. And the number one thing that this hits is that your opponent doesn't get their consistent draws from their eggs, which is the backbone of most card strategies that are digivolving up in the raising or just in lines in general. So by crippling that, I think that gives blue like at least somewhat of a strategy and somewhat of a start. So I think that's definitely the first thing to be said about this card.
Yeah, I think it's cracked. I mean, I don't know if you guys know any of the cards, but is there any other card that we currently have that doesn't allow your opponent's Digimon to suspend?
That's a really interesting version of like a lockdown. I think it's super cool. I don't know if there's any other cards that do that because everything kind of is based on not attacking or punishing when attacking, but not being able to suspend is crazy.
Yeah. I know we start to get a lot of it in like EX5, I think, and like even maybe I think this is like probably one of the first ones we're getting now. I think besides the inheritable, like if the inheritable was kind of just like a base effect, I think it'd be really cracked if you threw it into like blue hybrid. Just like you're already stripping as you're going up the line, and then you just like stun it even harder. Where it's like, all right, you can't suspend at all now.
That's interesting. Yeah, the inheritable effect you would have to play some of the other line, but some of the Jellymon stuff is generic. So
I think it's cracked. I would say
for sure.
I agree.
Selective source stripping is really good. You can bypass all this protection, like those Greymon protections.
Oh, I didn't even read that part. Yo, you can choose. Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. Being able to pick what sources to strip is actually crazy.
Yeah, to say the very least, Titusmon is way better than the Gamamon cards so far. This is definitely the most like just generically good card, like objectively good card that we've seen in the entire set. This is definitely number 1 card so far.
Yeah, I think the whole like trying to rely on your level 4s for Gamamon is kind of restricting it from being able to do other things uniquely.
Yeah.
While Jellymon, it's like, oh, you don't really have to rely on your inheritables. It's like, oh, just go to this level 5, strip your 2 of your opponent's Digivolutions. Like that's pretty crazy.
While gaining memory and then extending your turn. Yeah, we'll see if this ends up being the best card in the list, but let's look and see what that level 6 is looking like. Or let's see. Oh, it's another level 5 first, huh?
Yep, it's a Gamamon.
Fumamon. Digivolve 3 from a level 4 name contains Gamamon. When Digivolving, trash the top 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. Then one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards may not attack until the end of your opponent's turn. All turns, this Digimon gains all effects of cards with Gamamon in their names in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. And then its inheritable effect is all turns, this Digimon gains all effects of all Gamamon in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Yeah, I don't feel like it's not as good as the red one, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely
really.
not.
Especially when I look at like the future decks from like Japan, like I don't think any of them play this one.
Yeah, because when you look at it, right, I think the big problem with it is that if you, let's say that you're responding to your opponent's level 6, so if your opponent makes the first statement on the board and you're responding, even if you trash 3 Digivolution cards, you'll only get the level 2, the level 3, and the level 4, so they'll still have a level 5 and level 6 on top, so you won't be able to stun. You don't hit probably usually the most important powerful effect comes from the inheritable on level 5s. Usually it's a little bit better than that rookie egg inheritable. So this card, with all the things that we're talking about that were good with Thetismon, I think this card misses all those marks.
Yeah,
So
I think it's whack. I would say this is
Absolutely.
whack.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, we can for sure move on to the level 6 here. This one I'm hoping is exciting with how good the level 5 was. So
Oh,
this
here we go.
this is Amphimon. When digivolving and when attacking, I already like this. You may trash up to 2 blue cards from your hand. For each card trashed by this effect, you may choose one Digivolution card under one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers and trash it. Then you may return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's decks. All turns, once per turn, when one of your blue Digimon in play would be deleted by returning 3 cards with Jellymon in their text from your trash to the bottom of your deck, prevent that deletion. That's
Pretty
where it's
whack.
at.
Pretty cracked.
That's where
good.
it's at.
Kinda good.
I'm seeing consistency in this deck, right? Because you can play things like Analog Man, because lots of people just think of purple decks when you think of, or not Analog Man, but Analog Youth. Lots of people just think of purple decks, but I mean, if you need to build up a trash of your extra rookies and your extra level 4s, I think that that's a really good consistency piece that can just feed right into the turbo-ness of this, what this deck wants to do.
Yeah, and especially since I think it's the 5 that you trash cards into your security, or not security, into your trash. That does help. You get to choose. And so it's like as soon as you get to your 5 and you're able to keep turn, you're just like, all right, I'm going to do it again. Go to my 6, trash another 2. And then say it passes turn, they're like, all right, I'm going to try to kill your guy. And you're just like, all right, I'm going to bottom deck 3 of my things real quick. Just, yeah. I would say it's cracked. Just having that protection too.
Yeah, when digital and when attack. Well, 2 trigger timings.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, right, so you start your turn out, if you digivolve, into, your level, if you start off at 3 and you digivolve into your level 5 for 3, you gain back 2 memory, and then you digivolve into this guy, you only pass over 2, so if your opponent doesn't have the, memory tamer, you're already off on a pretty good start, and if you already have that level 5 in raising and you just don't digivolve into it, this is coming down for 2 digivolution cost, technically, if you gain 2 memory back, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, like, in the past, like, with Tesla Jellymon and, like, the other Jellymons, they've been pretty good, I would say. I think they have, like, Tesla Jellymon's able to, if you trash 2, unsuspend.
Yeah.
And then there's others with, like, evade. I think jamming as well. So, just having those is going to be really nice.
Yeah,
I know who is it?
Devin.
Devin. Devin's looking forward to this deck.
This card's very strong. The level 5 to level 6 combination here is very, very solid.
It's good, except if they went against the X antibody deck where their sources are so high, it doesn't matter if you take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 away. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good, generically. Yeah.
This does chip pretty hard, though, with the level 5 being able to chip out some of that big stack of, like, a big number, because the level 5 gets rid of, is it 2 or is it 3 cards, and then this card comes down and can get rid of 4. You're looking at either 6 or 7 cards coming down. Yeah, it looks like 2 cards.
Not bad.
That's not too bad. 6 cards, and on source strip, especially if you get to choose. Yeah, get those Dorimons out of here. No one gaining memory news.
That can be brutal. I like this card a lot.
Definitely looking like the strongest best line. Even I'm a green player, and I'm a little bit scared to see if green can really hold a candle to this. This is just kind of arguably just a powerful effect here. So cool. Let's look at what the. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say this would be kind of a funny like top end for Blue Flare when I think about it. You just when digivolving, just strip more sources and then say if they already had some loss, say like you had Soride and then they're like, okay, well I'm at my level 6, that's fine, and then you just play your level 5, go into this, strip it even more, and then you just bottom it. It'd be willing. I think it'd be willing something to test as like a one of. It'd be kind of funny too.
No, I totally agree. That's actually a really interesting way to think about it. I think the number one thing that I like about it is its protection. That's crazy. We've already seen how powerful protection is in Greymon, and with this just gaining that, yeah, pretty cool. But let's look at what the next card is, because I'm actually really excited what they do to follow up that, because that was actually a really nice 2 cards back to back to see some powerful cards. Numamon. Okay. On deletion, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Monzemon in its card name and 1 card with Numamon in its name among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then an inheritable effect. Opponent's turn. While this Digimon has Monzemon or Numamon in its name, this Digimon gains blocker. I haven't been keeping up with the Numamon poopy deck at all, but I don't know if this does anything for it. I know, is there a card that comes in that's very powerful for the deck, or is this it?
I can't tell you.
Me neither.
I mean, there's stuff with the what is it, the Monzaimon stuff. So I'm sure when we see it, it'll be something at least. I don't know. I can't guarantee it'll be crazy. I guess having a 3-cost level 4 on deletion searcher is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty good consistency, like objectively.
I guess.
3-drop.
Yeah, and then also I'm pretty sure Jumimon? I forget what his name. Chumon's effect. He has an inheritable where it's like on deletion, play a Numimon or something like that. Or something along those lines. So I guess you can keep on cycling, but yeah, I don't really have much to say about it.
No, for sure. I think it comes in and it's just kind of similar to what the rookies were for the other decks. We're just flushing out the archetype. Decent searcher, right? At least if you're playing this deck, I'm sure that you're going to be using this card to help search your top 3. And with it searching 2 cards, it is a reveal 3, search 2, so you can plus your hand size by 1. Those are always nice. I can say from like playing Lalamon. So yeah, no, this card objectively is just a good card for the archetype. Is it going to see any play outside? Not likely, but we'll give it a cracked rating just because it's kind of balanced.
Yeah.
But the next card we have here is the Monzemon. With this card, the effect is Digivolve 3 from level 4 if the name contains Numamon, so that's already nice. And then on play, by placing 1 Digimon card with Numamon in its name from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, gain 2 memory. On play, when Digivolving, or on play /1 Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -3k and security check -1 until the end of your opponent's turn with an inheritable effect. Your turn, while this Digimon has Monzemon or Numamon in its name, this Digimon gains security check +1. This card's actually kind of cool. I like it does cost 7, so I don't know why it has so many on-play effects, unless there's a card, I guess, that plays out a Monzemon. Do you guys know?
It probably will be the 6 when we look into it. But I don't think anything on the top of my head that plays the 5.
I can tell you, I don't play this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Not currently. Not currently.
Yeah, no.
None of us are experts on it.
I think objectively, it's actually pretty cool though. Just even if it doesn't have the on play, I do like the -3k on the body and then security check -1. It can be with it being able to hit 2 different Digimon. Is that how it works? One of your opponent's Digimon gets. Oh no, it's only on 1 card. So.
Till the end of your opponent's turn. Not bad.
It's not bad. It can help you if you're swinging with this card and then your opponent can't attack into your security or your suspended Digimon, right? If you take it out of the threshold.
I mean, you play for 5, right? You play level 5 for 5. It's not the worst thing ever.
No.
Yeah. I'm imagining this level 6 is going to do something that plays it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Let's check out the level 6 and we'll see what it does. So,
pretty good. I saw it back then. It's pretty good.
Yeah. This is going to be Shin Monzemon. Digivolve 4 from level 5 if name contains Monzemon or Numamon. When Digivolving, place all level 3 Digimon face down at the top of their owner's security stack. Then all your opponent's level 4 or higher Digimon get -3000 DP and security check -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. When attacking, by trashing 1 card with Numamon in its name from this Digimon's Digivolution cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the bottom of their security stack. That's really, really nice because it's just that built-in chaos degradation style of removal.
Sold it.
Really gets around like. Sorry, what'd you say?
Well, no, I was gonna say I guess I'm wrong. There isn't anything that plays.
So that 7 cost is ridiculous, but hey, whatever. I guess it's only 5 though because you gain 2 memory.
No, okay, I believe Metal Edamon is also like the Edamon line is also played with it, and Metal Edamon plays a certain play
Oh
cost.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You
So
can play
you could
7
technically play
costs.
this. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So that's the combo. I do like Shinmanzemon objectively though. The when attacking is actually really powerful, and that's where I think the power really comes in. When Digivolving giving a board sec -1 is similar to Venusmon, so that's definitely nothing to be slept on either. So this card altogether, I think it's gonna get a cracked rating. I think one
Yeah,
thing
I
to
would.
look at. Would you guys play this in SecCon?
And Secom, let's see.
That's an interesting question.
Wait, but that means you have to run Numimons to get this chaos
Uh,
to great effect.
Yeah, that is really important.
for
I would
the
not.
Chaos the Great Effect, you have to do it for the place all level 3 Digimon in your security stack, because you can just throw the new security rookie in your security stack, right?
Level 3.
Or that Harrismon.
Mm-hmm. The Heresiemon, yeah, thank you.
When Digivolving? I don't know. I feel like Venusmon does the exact same thing as the second effect, right? -1. They can't activate because you're not the first effect. They went Digivolving. It's not that relevant because all their level 3s are probably already dead or they don't have any 3s out.
Well, no, not for security control. Definitely not, because in security control you have like lots of memory, right? And if you have Heresiemons, you can just play them. And one thing Venusmon doesn't do is heal you. So this does tech. Oh, sorry.
You can do your own. You can do your own. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's both players. So I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily better because Venusmon is a floodgate where it turns off the one attacking and when digivolving. This one just kind of gives everything -3 for the bigger Digimon. But I do like that. I like the ability to heal 2. We haven't been able to really heal 2 consistently in yellow for a long time because unless we had Magnamons. So that's kind of the big thing that I'm thinking of. Because if you have a Heresiemon in raising, you raise it up and then you play a Heresiemon for turn. You go into this and you heal 2 with 2 security bombs that aren't options, so your opponent can't play that one option card to turn them off. So just interesting plays.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put it in security control. I haven't played security control, so I can't really say.
Yeah, I think we can give this one a cracked rating. I think it has definitely some interesting, just general yellow level 6 card, effects and everything. So this is going to be the first green one. This is going to be Angoramon. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with Angoramon in its deck and 1 Ruri among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Inherited effect all turns. If your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon in play, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. You know what? As the resident green player, I can say that inheritable is actually kind of cracked. Because if I sit this on a Quartzmon, my Quartzmon goes up to 16k and it gets outside of that. Its biggest weakness is that it's 15k. So if you can do this in an egg that buffs you plus 1k, it's interesting, right? Because if your opponent's board is locked, they have to either raise a Digimon up to attack, and when they declare the attack with the Digimon, unless it has an unsuspend effect, it'll be suspended, which will turn on this effect. So actually, I think this effect is arguably, actually generically pretty decent for green, especially just looking at Quartzmon and things like Shivamon and stuff. But how do you guys feel?
I mean, I don't know how the deck plays itself, so I can't say how it'd be on paper or in play. But Carl seems like he disagrees with it. So
earlier in our podcast for tonight, we were talking about how if you can't touch that other Digimon, it all falls apart. And I don't know what it is about green where it feels that sometimes it's just all or nothing. It just feels like sometimes like you have to put in so much effort to gain 1000 DP. All your opponent's Digimon have to be suspended, or else you don't get this boost. It just feels like there's other options or there's other strategies that you could be utilizing. Now we're later in this line, we're gonna see some other Digimon, and we're like, okay, is this better? Green, in my opinion, like Bloom Lord, for example. If you have 2, he's gonna get plus 2000 and a security check. Just by himself. So
Yeah.
when you look at some of these like other Digitama where you're like, if everything is stuck, you get 1000 DP and you're just like, gosh, I hope this 1000 DP is really gonna help me beat this like destroy this other Digimon. I hope this is all I need. So it just doesn't feel like it's tricky enough. It doesn't. Green isn't a brutality deck. Green isn't a deck where you feel like you need that DP boost, where you feel like you have to battle other Digimon. It feels like the decks that already do that already have strategies to pump themselves up. Green is more tricky, where you suspend and you kind of just like, I'm gonna just like bypass that.
Mm-hmm.
And blue's kind of the same way. Red is only the deck, in my opinion, where I feel like you like boost yourself up and you just beat things up. Green, I feel like you got like Nidhoggmon, you're like, get to the bottom of the deck, or you get like Rosemon, where you're just gonna sit there. I feel like you kind of just you don't really care a lot. I mean, Grandis. I mean, we know Grandis. You get so big by yourself. I mean, you're like six. You're like what are you 16,000 or so,
All by
and you don't even have to
yourself. Yep.
care half the time. So when I feel like the Angoramon line is definitely going to be very niche.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how good it is at suspending other things, but I feel like this is just going to be a theme deck that is less better than Blue Lord Mod, but because it's like a main character theme, they're gonna try really hard for it. But I feel like it's just not gonna be as good as it could be. It's cute, but I'm not sure if it's going to be optimal.
Okay, that's fair. Tusa, you look like you have some
Yeah.
thoughts you wanted to share.
I mean, Carl explained it pretty well right there. Aside from being a surgery, that's much.
The next one's gonna be a Gamamon.
Very
Oh.
exciting. Digivolve 2 from Gamamon, blocker as as the only effect. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think. I think the other one's a lot better. The other one gains piercing from what I remember, or
Mm, the
the
other
older one
green,
from
yeah.
BB10.
When it comes to Gamamon, when you get out of the red color, it feels like all you're trying to do is use those other sources for tucking.
Mm-hmm.
So so like the Kalas Gamamon for the evade, you just want to tuck it. For the Wenzen Gamamon, you want to gain the piercing, you want to gain the blocker. You really don't want to digivolve up into them, so I feel like you're going to be playing them as like maybe a two of or something in the deck, just so you have other names or other, I guess, sets of the cards so that you can put it under it. Other than that, they're kind of mid by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see them as more just like filler cards for like say, because the five can go into any level 4 or even the rookie. So yeah, I mean it's a 5 cost play cost, so I think that's honestly kind of nice too. Because
Mm-hmm.
if your opponent bricks and you're also bricked, you just toss this down. And you're like, all right, I got a blocker out. Um, I would say honestly pretty whack. I'd rather pick the other Wizen with piercing than this one.
Yeah, I don't think the
Yeah.
deck has enough consistent unsuspending effects right now to warrant the cards that are like blocker, evade. Because you can't even block or evade in the same turn, right? Because you don't unsuspend on your opponent's turn, so it's one to the other already. So they're kind of clashing
Yeah.
on effects here, so we'll give it a whack rating.
Yeah, and here's one thing that kind of bugs me about the Gamma line. Obviously, this is how they designed the cards, but I just really wish instead of the blocker being on like the actual image, it was like put as an inheritable, because that's a visual thing that just forces you to have to remember every effect that's currently underneath your level 5,
Mm.
and it is a little annoying.
Oh, it's actually.
I'd rather,
That's
yeah.
funny.
He's like, I remember like when I did see videos of the deck being played, I'm like, I have no idea which Wizen that is, or I have no idea which what Gamamon's underneath.
Huh.
So I wish it was like maybe the inheritable was a blocker, and then it just had like a main effect being, or like an effect being like, oh, use inheritable effect, or something like that.
For sure.
I think that visually it just would make a little more sense to me personally. I don't know about others.
No, I like that. That makes sense to me.
Okay, and then are we moving on to the next one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can check out the next one.
Sounds good.
So we have Simbear and Goramon. This is going to be the new level 5 when digivolving. If you don't have a Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. This is the level 4. When Digivolving, if you don't have a Ruri card in play, you may play one from your hand without playing its memory cost. And then inheritable effect is the same thing. All turns, if your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon in play, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP. So yeah, already what we were talking about with the inheritable, but for the one digivolving, just yeah, exactly what we said before too. Just kind of setting up. It's good for the archetype and it's good for what the archetype wants to do. But I don't think there's too many Ruris right now that have too much impact. So we'll see if the new one is very good. But we can we'll go to the level 5 if that's what's next.
I have a, so wait, when they imply if your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon in play, is that just implied all your opponent can't have one non-suspended Digimon in play?
Yup.
Correct.
See, I feel
Yup.
like if
That
it, if it,
that's
if it
what we're
had a
talking
way to
about.
suspend things as it's going up, then that effect would make sense. But since it's the normal 4 and 3 that just like searches and plays a tamer,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, we can get to the other Gamamon level 5.
This one is, at least the picture is cool, right? This one is
Yeah.
Chilied Human. When Digivolving, or Digivolve 3, from level 4 if name contains Gamamon. When Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. Your opponent's card suspended with this effect can't unsuspend during their next until the end of their next turn. All turns, this Digimon gains all effective cards with Gamamon and its Digivolution cards, and then it's inheritable. All turns, this Digimon gains effects of all the Gamamon cards in this card's Digivolution cards. I actually kind of like this card. I like locking effects; are pretty cool. It sucks that it can only suspend something weaker than it though at 7,000 DP.
Yeah, or 9 if you were to apply the boosts to it as well
Mm-hmm.
from the other Gamamons. I mean, honestly, I would take this over the blue one. Just because
Easily.
it's at least a bit more of a guarantee that you're suspending and you're actually doing something with that afterwards. I guess you could go even bigger if you have the hero out.
Mm-hmm. If you attack
Because
first, and it gives it for the. Is it when attacking for the turn, or is it just tap it to give it 2K for the turn?
Might
uh,
be maybe main, and then the memory tear forecast is the one attacking.
Mm.
okay, maybe not. Maybe maybe not. You won't be able to get that much bigger
Well,
because
no, I think it. I
unless
think you're right because you tap in the main and then you get plus 2K. I think that's what Tuso was saying.
I think at best
oh
11K,
Mm-hmm.
and then 13th when you attack. If you have both tamers out and the Gamma inheritable.
I actually think
yeah that
objectively this one is better than. I think this one is better than the red level 5 because it actually does something.
The
yeah
red level.
I guess the thing that the red one has above the blue and green one is the fact that it can digivolve on top of a 3
Mm-hmm.
instead of it doesn't have to be a 4. Yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but if you have to, if you're trying to put as many Digivolution cards under the cards anyway, you usually get into the level 4 is good regardless. So it'll have all the same effects as your level 5 or as your other level 5. But no, it's an interesting card actually. This one is definitely the coolest looking one. It's definitely like probably the most interesting one so far. Chili Human.
Yeah.
Feeling humor.
All right, and then we have Lamortmon. This is the second or third Lamortmon that we've gotten in the game, and this is a brand new one. When Digivolving, this card gains Piercing for the turn. Then, if this Digimon has a Digivolution card with Angoramon in its name, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Inherited effect: your turn once returned. When this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. The inheritable is definitely pretty decent. All those we've seen this inheritable a ton of times in green, and it's like it's interesting. It's not incredibly useful or usable, and it's nice that it gains piercing for the turn, so you can go level 5 into level 6, I suppose. But in general, they're just better green suspending and then piercing decks I think that we have right now. Hercules Kabuterimon, or the Kabuterimon line in general being kind of the biggest one.
Yeah.
Piercing. I don't know. You don't really want piercing on level 5. You always want piercing on the 6 because on the 5 it just dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's forcing you to go
Yeah.
5 straight into 6 with that effect for sure, I think. Which isn't
I feel
ideal.
The
like
amount of setup is ridiculous that this deck When you really look at the way that this deck is supposed to work, the
Mhm.
amount of setup that you're supposed to do, gaining kind of like what that Tusa said, you don't want your ultimate to have the piercing because I mean, and then kind of earlier what Austin said, you're playing against Royal Knights. Oh, the benefits are very minimal. You're not going to hit anything. You're just going to die. You're going to lose your stack, and then you're God knows how many turns behind your opponent at that point.
Mhm.
It's a cute ability, but it just doesn't feel like it's fast enough. And I don't know what they can do with this Angoramon line to catch it up to a lot of these other archetypes. That I mean, you look at any Agumon Gabumon deck that's had support since the first set, and then you look at this deck that all right, even though you're a later set, you should have stronger abilities. I just don't see these decks, at least especially this green deck with a lot of these green cards. I don't see it breaking the mold because it just doesn't have the combo potential. You look at these burst mode decks right now compared to these RV1 decks right now, and you can kind of see that these decks just weren't given enough gas.
Mhm. No, I completely
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, that's a good point.
I would agree as well. I mean, I think based off what I remember, what the sixth is going to reveal, I guess, because it does apply to this Digimon. So like this, but I feel like this deck is really forcing you to like have like one of your opponent's Digimon to first live so that it stays suspended, or your opponent has a blocker so that when you get to your 5, you can suspend it, and then go to your 6 to do your whole effect as well, and then do the piercing and stuff like that. But it's like you're you're not really gaining a lot, I would say, in my opinion. You're really expecting a certain board state for this deck to go off, and I just feel like based off. I mean, I've never even touched green, but I just feel like other green decks would do a lot better than this.
Mhm.
So
Tusa, we'll let you rate it for the cracked rack rating and why.
Oh, the card sucks. The hair was decent. The main effect is terrible because you don't want your 5 to have the piercing. You just want to kill something and no, you do not want to touch the security because once the stack dies, you lose everything. And based on the line so far, you don't want to start over again. It's a whack. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe the
It's
6,
so bad.
because my memory could be like failing me, but maybe the 6 would like
Oh,
explain
it's
why
bad.
this
It
5
looks
has
bad.
Oh, it's bad. It's so
Oof.
bad. You look at Bloom Lord and you're like, why would they make this? It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Let's get to this next card because we're gonna read it and we're like, why is this a thing?
So, Dear Rabbitmon, this one is going to have blocker inherently. When digivolving, when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, if your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. End of your turn.
It's
One of your
so
Digimon in
bad.
play with Angaramon in its text can attack one of your opponent's Digimon in play. That doesn't
It's
even make
so
sense.
bad.
It can't.
It's so bad.
It can't even attack while it's suspended. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, no, I don't get
Yeah,
it.
payout's not there.
It's for 4 cost. Just wow. Yeah, that's really
That's
really rough.
yeah.
The fact that
Yeah.
there's a stipulation on the memory gain back is laughable. And the fact that I mean, like you're really not going to gain that much back though. It's not like Bloom Lord where you're like, oh, all the commitment that I've made, I'm going to get this back. You're completely reliant on your opponent's board at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and your ability to control your opponent's board at this point.
And your
And
opponent's
if
ability
it's
to do
and if
nothing.
yup, absolutely. So it's just too situational. It's too cute. It's
Mm-hmm.
never going to work. This is definitely one of those cards that I don't even think you wait for a better version of it or something to make it better. I think there's just going to be better Deer Rabbit Mons in the future. This one's going to
Mm-hmm.
get forgotten about really quick.
Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
really really bad. It just doesn't do anything.
I mean, art looks sick. The art looks sick, but everything
Yeah, the
else
art's pretty decent
very
for sure.
very under.
And
Yeah,
then
I
with
feel
no
like
way
this
to
one.
unsuspend yourself is crazy.
think the Tamer does it, but it's not really good.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really feel like this is just like this is just Walmart brand Bloom Lord that doesn't care about
Yeah, it's
raid.
lazy.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for sure. Cool, cool. We'll give it the whack rating for this one. We can move on to the next card for sure.
4 is also a 4 Digivolution cost is so funny.
Yeah, especially in blue or in green, where like you're focused on reducing. So here we have Espimon. This card is only inheritable effect, so it's gonna be a level 3 with no main effect. And opponent's turn, while there's a tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 2 KDP. This is kind of cool because it's a tamer in play on you or your opponent's side. Black has some interesting archetypes, I guess, too.
I can see it in Machine Dramon. Machine Dramon play this. Just gets the extra plus 2000 DP on your opponent's turn as like a rookie inheritable. I don't know currently what they use. I know Hagurumon, but that's just more of a that's for
It's a
the enclave
consistency
or
piece,
enclave?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not really like a key rookie line that you want to go up.
I don't think you want to Digivolve it, but you have to play it for consistency, I think, because it's on play, discard 1, draw 2, so it's a +1.
Yeah, sorry.
Or it's a cycle, it's a full cycle.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I think it's like kind of one of those effects where you can look at it and put it into anything black, right? Because you can throw it into like I think the first thing I thought of was like the Craniumon stuff that has like Megidramon and all that stuff, or like just different type of blocker dot decks, whatever format people try to come up with it in. I think this is an interesting 3 for something like that.
No, Newt's gonna throw this into Black Greymon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And card for Newt.
We know he's gonna do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're going to play so many ties. I mean, you're going to have a fat Greymon, not going to lie, if you do something like this, so I can see it. But
Yeah.
Neon, you want to rate it?
I would say that the card is whack. I don't feel like it's enough. I mean, there could be some other decks, and I'm not a black player. I don't really play a lot of black decks. I don't really play a lot of machine decks. So it could definitely come from my ignorance with not having much experience playing that color.
Hmm.
But for me right now, I don't necessarily see it as anything that is going to convince me to play it. I feel like there's a lot of other strategies that could be implemented that would be better than the raw power.
No, that's totally fair. I think it having the cyborg trait definitely points it more into the Machine Dramon line of play though too. So that's interesting.
That's the main reason why I jumped towards Machine Dramon, just because of the cyborg inheritable. Or
Yeah, no.
trait.
That makes sense. We can look at the next card.
This is we have this card technically.
So this is a Hover Espimon. So on play when digivolving, reveal the top card of your opponent's security stack. If that card is a Digimon card, gain 1 memory. Otherwise, draw 1. Return the reveal card face down to the top or bottom of your opponent's security. All turns while there is a tamer in play, this Digimon gains blocker and cannot be deleted by your opponent's effects. I like that. I actually like that a lot.
Wait, actually no, I don't think we have this one.
No, the one we have is a Espimon where it's a level 3 with the on play. Look at your opponent's security stack.
Yeah, that one
Let's
just
see.
looks at top. This one looks at top and then puts it to top or bottom. So that's actually really nice.
And then it can't be deleted by effects is kind of cool.
It's just yellow in one piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Katakuriimon, but in Digimon.
Not bad.
I think it's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. I'm trying to think of like actual uses for it. It does have cyborg in the name too, so super interesting. But
A lot of potential with that card.
yeah, with the level with it being the level 4 too, I guess you can digivolve it on board and look at your opponent's security, but then you get the draw 1, so it's a little bit of consistency for that deck too. So I think it's actually pretty good. We can give it a cracked rating, and then we'll look at the next card.
Technically,
Wait, it's a super? Dang.
Is it?
it's also.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is. What?
interesting.
Technically, depending on your opponent's security, it's also a 1-cost Digivolution because you gain the memory back.
True.
So that is also that.
All right, looking at the next card, we have Black Gatomon Uber. Security, at the end of the battle, play this...
Sorry.
No worries. At the end of the battle, play this card without paying its memory. On play, by returning 1 Digimon card from your opponent's trash to the bottom of their deck, draw 1. That's kind of cool. not great or anything like that, but if you're playing a random like security cards slot, it's not too bad to get a draw one when your opponent hits your security.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely a cute effect.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
I'm just I'm just really trying to think where you would what deck you would put this in.
Yeah, it feels like it's trying to be very generic, but I'm not sure. Maybe it goes with the archetype, because I do see a purple level 6 in the corner there, so let's look at the next card and see if it gives us any hints at what it does. Oh
What
no,
Ganon
this is
looks
just a
like.
Callus Galamon. It looks like this one, Digivolve 2 from Gamamon. End of attack by deleting this Digimon. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. On deletion, play one Gamamon from your trash suspended without paying its memory cost. Is this one better than the old Callus Galamon?
Um, it's essentially kind of doing the same thing, except it doesn't kill anything. And
Also,
the other one has retaliation, and it also brings back a Garamon. So, Florida, they're both pretty good. You run both.
I think it's supposed to be used towards like the end of like your top end. Like when you go into your top end, you would slot this underneath. Because then it's like say your level. I think the level 6 for this also plays the level 7 when it gets deleted by a gamma monitor effect or something like that. I know
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know but it's definitely like a more top end thing. You don't really go into it early game.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's also interesting and something I could see coming down in the late game. With its end of attack, just like deleting it, then just deleting one of your opponent's Digimon with the DP less. When we're talking about the DP base, at least you can pop this up to pop any of your opponent's level 5s. So like punishing like a too early commitment of like an Iatarmon or something like that can be kind of cute as a level 4.
Yeah.
I see.
How I kind of like to see it. It's kind of like it's like you pair this up with the Blitz Beta Gamamon, and then you go into this. You go to your 6, you swing, do your end of attack, pop the level 6, and then I think if the red 6 and the purple 6 are in its heritable, you play the 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
You also get the other on deletion effects.
Okay.
I think
Wow, okay.
when you pair it
Okay.
with that, it's pretty cracked. I think it's pretty cracked if you pair it with that idea, with that combo.
And that's like what a lot of Digimon decks right now want to do is kind of pull off these specific 1-to-1 combos or 1-to-2 combos. So no, I like that. We'll give Callus Galamon actually a cracked rating because it is kind of similar, but you do
I
play
like
both of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is all based off of what I said is correct. I don't know if
No, it's
correct.
correct, yeah. The purple line's the
Okay.
better line for Garamon.
All right, so we have another level 5 here, and this is going to be Regulusmon. Digivolve 3 from level 4 in name if it contains Gamamon. When digivolving or when attacking, once per turn, by trashing one card with Gamamon in its text from your hand, one of your Digimon gains on deletion. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level until the end of your opponent's turn. All turns, this Digimon gains all effects of cards with Gamamon in their names in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then its inheritable is the same thing. This one is actually kind of cute. This one's actually kind of interesting. You can turn other little Gamamons into little suicide bombers. Just swing them in and then pop one of your opponent's little Digimon.
Yeah, I think that's where it goes in pair with the one below or the level 4, the House Scout or whatever his name is, the level 4.
Yeah, no, the Cal Scout Gamamon for sure. No, it's kind of cool, yeah, because you just force it delete and you trigger all the different effects. So
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't really grade it.
No, it's okay.
I really think it's cracked.
I think it definitely does its thing
Absolutely.
for the deck. Yeah, I think it's tied with the green one for being like the best choice for a level 5 slot.
Yeah. All right. Levels.
All right, and then we have Arcturusmon. Digivolve 4 from level 5 with Gamamon in text. So this is our second level 6 that we're seeing for this archetype. When digivolving, you may place one Digimon card with Gamamon in its text from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then you may delete one Digimon with a level less than or equal to this Digimon's Digivolution cards. On deletion, you may return one Digimon card from your trash to your hand. Then by trashing one Seriousmon from your hand, you may play one Proximon from your hand without paying its memory cost. Interesting. Having this one bring
Kind of
out
good.
the other line is actually really, really, really cool. So you play them in
Yeah.
tandem. You would just play both level 6s in the same deck, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. Yeah, you would tuck like the other level 6 underneath, and then just kind of go off.
That's crazy. That's actually a very powerful level 6 effect. I like that quite a bit. And
Yeah,
this
that's
one
why I
is.
personally, like the blitz effect with this
Mhm.
deck.
Are you guys gonna be playing Gamamon at all next set? Since these are gonna be like kind of the mainstay cards in the set, it looks like the best line of cards next to the blue. Blue is
Yeah,
definitely the strongest,
it's
but
fun.
is it?
It's only because the other two like lines suck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I play it.
I
Oh, the
would.
level
I
It's
would.
7 is really
fun.
Yeah, I would give it a shot. It looks like a lot of fun. With the whole tucking stuff underneath, it kind of gives me like a weird, and I could be completely crazy by saying this. It just gives me like a weird like budget like machine Dramon deck where you're just like constantly just tucking, or Alphamon deck, I guess, where you're just tucking stuff underneath and you're just like kind of going off, and then you get to your final piece, your level 7.
yeah. No, I love that. That's so true. That's such a yeah. Just being honest. Um, cool. What do you want to rate this one, Neon?
I looking at this card right now, I think all the purple Gamamon stuff is cracked. I think if you're going to play Gamamon, you have to play the purple version of it.
Mm-hmm.
All the purple cards make the deck actually do fun things, and I feel like that's when the combos and the creative side of the Gamamon deck really starts to come out. Absolutely cracked. You got to play the purple cards. It only gets better from here on out.
Yeah, I like that. I like that quite a bit too. We can look at the next card. I'm actually really interested in seeing what these last. It looks like we're moving
Here we
into
go.
Tamers. So these cards are going to be the supporting pieces for all three decks, and we're starting off with the hero. This one's going to be probably the most important one for the deck. So, start of your main phase by placing a Digimon card with Gamamon in its name from your hand under one of your Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Gain one memory and draw one card. Your turn when your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with Gamamon and its text. By suspending this tamer, that Digimon gains plus 2,000 DP. 10 out of 10. Definitely a crack tamer here for sure. All those effects are so
Yeah.
good, and it's consistency, right? Just cycling cards. You get to put a card from your hand under a card, but then you just draw a new card from deck.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think when we think back on the other level 5s and what they can proc, it's like now I think about it. Start of main, you raise Gamamon, go into Battle Gamamon with Raid.
Mm-hmm.
You gain the plus 2,000, so I think he's originally 5k, so go to like 7k. You swing Raid, tap the other one, go to 9k, and then if you have the Gamamon hero, you're at 11k. So you just go to your 5, and then you can just bottom or suspend a level or 11k, which is most 6s, or not most 6s, but a good amount of 6s. So I think that's where it could also go off with the green one.
For sure. No, I like the idea of even with that on curve, right, where you're digivolving. If you're stuck at 1, you raise up, you digivolve, put your opponent to 1, but then you get out your memory tamer. Then on your following turn, right, you get to go to 3, play out this tamer here, go down to 0, and then possibly digivolve into a 5 and do some fun things. So I think on curve, this hero is gonna be very, very solid for sure. We'll give it a cracked rating here.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Cool. Next up, we have Kirashiro. This card is all turns when your Digimon with Jellymon in its text or your opponent's level 5 or higher Digimon attacks if you have 7 or less cards in your hand. By suspending this Digimon, draw. Is it just a draw 1? Yeah, draw 1. And then your turn, when this tamer becomes suspended, gain 1 memory. Or becomes unsuspended, sorry, gain 1 memory. That is interesting.
It's good.
It works with deck.
Yeah.
Definitely works with deck.
Is this similar to the BT9 Kyoshiro, where it's like swing, and if you have 7 or less cards, draw a card or something like that?
Yeah. But I think Jellymon or you have the 5 or higher attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I think something like that.
So
It replenishes your hand.
Mm-hmm. And your hand, like, we know what the effects your hand is going to be low the whole time, so there's not going to be too many turns where you're going to get locked out of this effect because you have too many cards in hand. So that part about it is definitely really nice for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think we'll
I
give
would
this one a
say
correct rating. Or sorry.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, I agree. I think it's just a cheap. It's not. I mean, the difference between this one and the Kyosho from BT9 is not a memory setter, but it is also one less because memory setter was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say cracked as well.
Yeah, no, we like this one quite a bit. All right, we'll look at Ruli here. Your turn when you would digivolve your Digimon into a green card with Beast Animal or 4 Sovereigns in one of their traits other than Sea Animal. By suspending this tamer, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. End of your turn, once per turn, you may unsuspend one of your Digimon with Angoramon and its text. Security, play this card without paying its cost. Ugh. This one is just way
Yeah.
too specific. Exactly what we were saying earlier, where it just doesn't do. It's just way too specific.
Yeah, yeah.
Really slow.
I still find it funny that even though this is purely just a green card, it's
Mm-hmm.
funny that they still add in the sea animals trait.
Yeah, yeah, for
That
sure.
seems so specific.
No, it totally does. The only way I could see utilizing this any of these cards is like a Leopardmon deck, since that's like the beast animal cards as well, I suppose. Going into a Quartzmon, but that's just you could do all of that in just a better deck, 100%. I
You
would say.
also, yeah, you're also losing the end of turn effects.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Wait, which end of turn effect are you losing?
End of turn, once per turn, you may unsuspend one of your Digimon with Angoromon in its name.
I think it's just way too specific.
Yeah.
The only part that I like about it, and it makes me think about the future of this game, is it makes me think about how the new Yoshi in what is it, BG13, when you play like a plant or vegetation or something, you can suspend it to gain a memory.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if green is going to be that this deck where if you go on these certain lines, you can suspend the timer to gain memory. I feel like this game is going to advance to a certain style where we're just playing certain tamers in our decks and certain like champions like what is it, Simba Agoramon or whatnot, just so you can play all these other tamers. Just so you're gonna be able to gain all these, I guess, inheritable effects when you digivolve. Like, oh, digivolve into this, gain a memory here, draw a card, gain a memory here, suspend something. I feel like that's the way that this game could end up going, and it's going to be really interesting to see the way that you can splice combos together.
Yeah.
I think we've all agreed right now that this Ruli stuff is not that competitive. I'm really interested to always see what comes out in the future because I feel like there could be archetypes that are very similar because what's it say, like sovereigns and some of these other like animals and whatnot. It only takes a few other animals or sovereigns to possibly make this a splashable, to make at least like the rookie and the champion splashable. So you have searching power, and then you also have the ability to play the tamer for free. So I think the game could definitely continue to advance towards that style of gameplay.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally think that's well said. For definitely has potential for the card, but yeah, no, it's just not hitting for right now or immediate application, right? But in the future, you can totally see something. Let's see what the last tamer here is going to be for the set for the new cards at least. We have Hokuto Mn Okawa. Looking at this card, the start of your turn, if your opponent has 3 or more tamers in play, gain 1 memory. All turns when your opponent plays a Digimon by suspending this tamer, if that Digimon is level 4 or higher, gain 1 memory. If that Digimon is level 3, draw 1 card.
Oh God.
I don't. Why does your opponent have to have 3 or more tamers in place? It's just specifically to counter Crossheart.
Three more tears.
I don't know. I don't know what this is specifically for. All turns when your opponent plays a Digimon.
It's
That's all turns too.
awful.
What are you doing? Why is your opponent playing a level 4 during your turn?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Security effects, man. Who knows? Maybe the Black Adam on Uber.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is this supposed
This
to
is
Not
like a
good.
counter
bad floodgate.
either? Yeah, yeah. I don't like it.
It like
I
only
only
Mm,
hate
counterplay.
putting
It's
it.
only like usable in a world where Crossheart is running away with the format, or Hunters is running away in the format because it just counters those two decks a lot, I guess, because they can't play their level threes without you gaining extra cards. They can't cross in their level fours without losing an
Oh, wait,
extra memory. But like,
I guess. Wait 1 second. For Marcus and those. Yeah, does Marcus consider himself a Digimon?
no, it's not
Well,
playing a
he's not
Marcus,
Digimon.
level.
No.
Okay.
Marcus still
Yeah.
level though.
He doesn't play himself. I think he just moves himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If that was yeah, if it was that other case, then I would say, oh yeah, this makes sense. It's like they're actually paying to like raise Marcus, but no, that I don't get it.
No, I don't. I
But
don't.
Austin has no level though. Marcus has no level.
He has DP, but he doesn't have level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't even gain the memory.
That's crazy to think about,
Yeah, I
actually.
don't I don't know. I'm just trying to justify this card. I don't
I
it
think I
doesn't.
think this is like lore purposes, right? Three tamers, the three main characters, and I think the second effect is to play into the level 7 that we'll see next.
Yeah, let's see what the next level 7 is. Maybe you're right. And then the security effect just plays in. But it looks like this is going to be our only new secret rare. We have Proximon, Digivolve 3 from a Seriesmon with Arcturusmon Digivolution card. All turns, once per turn, when another Digimon is deleted, you may play one level 4 Digimon card with Gamamon in its name from your trash without paying its memory cost. End of turn, once per turn, by placing one Digimon with Gamamon in its text from your hand or trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon cards with DP less than or equal to this Digimon. I mean, for the archetype, this hits. This is definitely really this is where
That
it's
goes
at.
off.
Spam me out just extra level fours is pretty nice. Too bad we didn't see any level fours or cards that give rush to make it just really aggressive. But I mean, this is still
Yeah.
it makes
I was
cards
actually
like that
just thinking
blocker.
that too. Yeah, I was just thinking that too. I was like, damn, if only it has brush, but
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Who is it? Devin
Anumismon.
would just
Aw.
disagree with me hard. He does not like rush. So if this deck had rush, he would not like it
Yeah, that's fair.
playing against it. But uh yeah, no, I would say it's cracked. You get to play the blocker, say if you do pass turn, and I think I think the way we're approaching the Gamamon deck is that we're expecting it to be super aggressive, but I think it's actually supposed to be very control. It's supposed to be very control based. You're popping things,
Mm-hmm.
you're raiding into things, you're blitzing, you're doing all these things so that you can play. You have the level fives where you suspend things that don't unsuspend, or yeah, and then you also have the removing sources from the blue one. It's like I feel like we should be approaching it as more of a control, and then when it gets all of its pieces out, it starts popping off and then comboing
Mm-hmm.
for like the game.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I think that's a really good way of analyzing it. Because, yeah, we have been kind of looking at it from more of an aggressive standpoint, but maybe it doesn't have to just be that aggressive deck, right? In the meta.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I think everything going up to the 6 is there just to be like controlling and popping things, and then you get to your 7, and then your opponent's like, what is your opponent gonna do? You just have a level 7 that's just out there. I mean, I guess if you're playing against Blue Flare, you could just stun it because it has
Mm-hmm.
no sources, but I don't know.
Nope, right there with you. I totally agree. I'd love to hear what Neon and Tusa think of the card.
Yeah, it's good. It's a secret rare, so it's gonna be hard to get.
Mm.
That's the sad part.
I like this card. I think you finally get to see what the deck is trying to accomplish in this card.
Mm.
I think you finally start to understand the synergy with this card. And it's very interesting to me because it makes me feel like, is this a deck that kind of plays a bunch of minions? Like you get to play the Wenzen Gamamon. Okay, you got the blocker. Maybe you have something to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, let's say, you put out the, what is it, the Kaula Gamamon with the evade, so you have something that can maybe stay on the field and it can dodge a couple of deletions or whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
you wonder if it's going to be able to go wide. You kind of wonder if it's just a deck that's just going to be able to keep resurrecting other Digimon to continuously add pressure to the game. But the controlling aspect of it is also fun. So this card is great. It's definitely cracked. It definitely makes the archetype competitive. It gives it the edge. The only thing about this, though, and I feel like not many decks are at this point right now, or where I feel like this deck, if you don't get to that level 7, I feel like you're going to feel like you're missing something. There are other powerful effects, but I don't feel like you really get that the whole plan's coming together moment until you get that level 7 with this deck, where you're really going to start feeling like you're going to be able to start controlling the game. You're going to start to pop off, and you're going to start to accomplish what the deck is. I guess that's the deck's blueprint. So it's a great card. I'm excited to see how this deck works. I'm excited to see it compete. But when you compare it to burst modes, where you have that opportunity to digivolve for free, see, burst modes are really crazy because you digivolve for free by returning your tamer to your hand,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you have the deck set up right, you just digivolve into the ultimate and you play the tamer back again for free. Where I don't feel like these ghost game decks have that, I guess, that sneaky way to kind of exploit those tamers and kind of keep reusing them to gain extra abilities. I feel like these, like, oh, you get that one suspend and you get that like one cheeky play, and then after that you're kind of like, I hope this did enough, and I paid full memory for it. So we'll definitely see how the deck works out.
No, I totally agree. I think we definitely will see as it continues to grow how the deck will kind of come together. But you're right. I think this is kind of the master plan is coming together kind of card where it really brings all the different strategies that you're doing together, and then it really gives you more context on a lot of the cards. Like when we said the blocker was bad, but now the blocker is kind of looking like the better level 4 to have extra and access to, as opposed to having like an evade one or even the red one. And yeah, just looking at kind of how the cards are coming together. No, I think it's good. I think this card's cracked. It's a secret rare, so it's going to be powerful, just like Tusa was saying, 100%. So wrapping up the review portion of the video, we've gone over all of the new cards, and I feel like we got the gist of a lot of like what the reprints represent. A lot of them are going to be kind of out of touch and not too exciting for a lot of things. It'll be exciting for a lot of players who weren't in those formats of like set 5 getting Lucamons or getting like their Omnimons work defeats and things, so that they can have their sets of 4-ofs. But I think in general, there's not going to be too much meta impacting. It's going to be a lot of like the back end of just like anybody who didn't get it the first time around can pick it up now for really, really cheap. But looking at just the new cards, what are you guys' thoughts on the set overall, and why do you feel that way about your responses? Neon, we
Mm.
can start with you.
So when it comes to my opinions on this set, I would not recommend buying boxes. This is a singles only set. You do not want to buy the boxes. You're gonna minus really hard. I would recommend just buy your singles. If you're gonna make these decks, just do it. You'll probably spend $10 making some of these decks rather than spending $80 to $100 per box. If you are a newer player, having a set where all the memory boosts are kind of together, and some of these other cards with like Jack Raids, Kaiser Nails, Holy Waves, some of these cards could be good for your general toolbox. So if you creating that arsenal for yourself, so that if you are thinking of playing a bunch of, or a variety of different colors, that you have some of these go-to cards, so that you do have easy ways to build decks that can be competitive. But if you're looking at seeing, like, buying a set to like make a deck to try to be competitive, this would not be the set that I recommend that you pick up. It's honestly a throwaway set in my opinion. If I'm to give it a letter grade, it's going to be a C minus, and that's really me trying to not make you feel bad. This, I'd give it a lower letter grade if it didn't have some of the cards that I feel like would bolster some other decks or some other strategies. This is a quick pass. This would be trash if I was to give it an Oppas rating.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, the more I'm looking at this actual list that has a lot of the reprints,
Mm-hmm.
or like what the reprint list is gonna be containing, I'm just like, this is pretty whack. The sad part is, like, if I really wanted to like max out on this like Gamamon deck, the alt arts are gonna be so expensive. They're gonna be so expensive just because not it's kind of like how it was with what is it, EX4. You
Mm-hmm.
have some rares that cost more than SR, cars in BT13, and it's just because no one opened EX4, and so I can imagine alt arts being pretty expensive here. So it kind of sucks if you really want to max rarity on Gamamon itself, because you also have to worry about all the other hits you don't want. I mean,
Just
you can get
mocking up your hit area.
yeah, you can get alt art, hover SBmon. What else you can get? I mean, you can get alt arts of the rookies, which actually look pretty nice. So I guess there's that. Um, but like, imagine just getting the secret Black War Greymon. Like, you're not. No
I
one
would
Oh,
I
cares
would
that.
cry. I would
I
literally
would I
start
would be
bawling.
so sad. I just maybe if like the hit rates were super good for this set, for you to like maybe if it was like as good as like an EX set for like alt arts, then maybe I could. But I can't imagine it.
that's not gonna save you.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree too. You know, something to do. It's a fun set to do if you're bored because we're not getting BT14 for like a while, right? And even like the Garamond deck, I don't think it's that competitive, right? It's a total fun deck to do, and maybe like Proxima might be expensive because it's a secret rare, and maybe not many people buy the set, not many people pull the secret rare. But it's a win if you're a new player and need cards. It's a big L if you're like me who just want to get the new cards and don't want anything else. But definitely buy singles for sure.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. I completely
Like,
agree. I think just looking at the set overall, it's just kind of a bit lackluster. And I think the biggest kick in the face for it is that just that the reprints are so out of touch. We had an opportunity to get really fun, memory boost alt arts. We had the chance to get really cool like security Digimon alt arts and things like that. And they could have just been a lot more in touch with what the players want right now. And I think that they missed a really good opportunity for that, which just totally leads me into the next set. And do you guys think that we should continue doing reprint sets for this game in the future?
No,
no.
those such bad cards for reprints.
Not sets. What was it? Was it BT10? I think BT10 took the best approach that you could do for reprints. Think about like hidden potential discovered. Think about, and I mean, and they did pick some like not so great cards like Hexablaumon, but putting parallel versions of cards in main sets of like one ofs or other really important cards that you would want to put in your decks. I do like that strategy. That would be the approach that I would take to it. I wouldn't do a full set of reprints. I would sprinkle them into newer sets, full regular sets as special parallels that you could get, but I wouldn't want it to replace hits or anything like that.
Yep.
It's hard to say.
Honestly, yeah, I fully agree. I fully agree on that. Actually, I really think their best way of doing this probably would have just done something similar of like, oh, like like how we did it with BT11, where it's like you get the chance, but it doesn't affect your actual hit rate at the box.
Mm. Yeah.
No, for sure. I think one thing that we'll be seeing here is going to be a $30 retail box here for these in the future. I think these are going to stick around at places for a really
Oh,
long time. And then yeah, it's going to be get down to be linking it to like Dragon Ball Super. They had a set called the Mythic set. And at the time for Mythic Booster, the cards in it were like hotcakes. Like you needed everything in the set, and they were super, super, super needed for everybody playing the game. But fast forward, just a little bit, these reprint sets just don't seem to do good for Bandai, and it's been historically like that. So I think that they're dabbling in it in Digimon and seeing what the reaction is going to be. But I would just say, it's not. It won't be received well just because of the power level of like the original art cards, and it's nice seeing them splash in cards, so it's not just a reprint set that players can splash over, and we do get a little bit of meta interaction, if you can call it really meta interaction. But I think looking at Digimon in general, the game is pretty cheap for players to pick up cards in general. So a lot of people weren't having problems like picking up things like ties once they stopped being like $15 or $20 a piece, and once they got down to like the more $5 range, and some of those cards like that, people have the cards that they need. So in Digimon, you don't have as much of a deficit of people not having cards because nothing's ever like crazy expensive where you just never want to go out and pick it up. So I think that that's something that is just really unique, especially for Digimon. Maybe we could see something for card games like One Piece where they do still have pretty expensive like rares and stuff like that, with like Punk Gibson being like $3-4. You have things like Jet Pistol still being pretty decent. I think in other card games, maybe, but in general, reprints are hard to do. I think they just need to reprint cards as like easier to get promos and keep with that kind of structure for what they do for reprinting cards, because that works for them. You know, when they do little gift boxes or when they do little tournament packs and stuff like that, everybody gets the cards, they flood out, and everybody can get them appropriately. But now, without being tied to $100 and something box or $80 box or whatever. So
You know, it'd be so great. I mean, I don't know if this would be the best example, but like when we play in pre-releases, we get those random like alt arts of like, was the last one was Bancho Stingmon. Like
full
instead
art.
of that,
No, the full
are you
art.
telling me we couldn't get like alt art memory boost or like some of these other, because people play in pre-release, people love playing pre-release because they're fun. So you're not gonna have people not play them. So like, why not give them something they actually want?
Yep.
Security plus Greymon was actually kind of nice because that
That was
saved me
really
a lot of
needed.
money.
Yep.
But like that was something we needed. Like
And Pulse One and
like,
stuff.
yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like just like do something like that. You don't need to make a whole new set just to
Agreed.
give us just to like release
Absolutely.
the Gamamon or the Jellymon line and stuff like that. Especially when like 2/3 of those decks are pretty mid. You know?
Yep,
Like
absolutely.
yeah, it's actually kind of frustrating to think about just because it's like I'd rather have this be put into a normal set and then like everyone is buying it because it's a normal set and like and because of that the prices won't be as crazy because like I said it's you have cards like rares in EX sets that are more expensive than SRs in this most in BT13. It's like it's crazy. Like Pokemon costed more than what's his face Craniumon.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
an
yeah.
egg costs more than an SR. It's like what do you mean? It's because no one bought EX4 and that's why it has more value because of that. And that's how I feel like it's gonna be like this for anyone that wants to play like max rarity Gamamon.
No, yeah, that's totally true. Looking at the set and kind of taking a step back, we did all say that we were pretty tired of Digimon at the beginning of the set, so we haven't been playing as much Digimon in general, and this is kind of one of Digimon's ways of freshening up the meta is always by putting out a new set. Sometimes we've talked about this quite a bit on the channel or on the podcast, but it's like rotations, like a set into an EX set into a new set, right? And having that like month and a half to 2 months breaks in between really helps keep things fresh and really helps keep things nice. What decks do you guys think that you're going to be playing, or do you think that this set is going to be too much of a miss to like really give you anything to look forward to for the format?
Mm.
Or even if it's an old deck, right, that's saying something about what you'll play. I'll start off, and I'm definitely still going to be playing Bloomlord. Just kind of piggybacking off of what I said in the very beginning. It's just like riding a bicycle, right? You can do your combos, but I just don't think anything topples it in power, so I'm going to just continue to play just a deck that I know is proven to be super, super powerful and has this really consistent like Digivolution reduction and things like that. So for me, it's definitely Bloomlord. The set is too much of a mess for me to pick up like the Gamamon deck, for example.
I think it's gonna be a like currently right now what I plan on playing is Belphimon just because in theory I feel like it could do super well in BT14 if you pilot it super well. Think about it. You have people that are going to be playing all the blast stuff. Oh, you're going to go play blast. You have all these fives out, 5 or lower. I'm not going to be scared you're going to blast everything because my level 6 pops all 5s and lower. So if you go into a level 5 with overflow, oh, I just popped everything, gained +2 memory, and then now you don't have anything to blast into.
That's
So
a
at
good
least
point.
that's what I'm, yeah. Or it's like, oh, you have the 6. Oh, I'm gonna slot my tamer underneath, pop it. I get overflow now. Stuff
And it
like
just
that.
bounces back to your
So
turn, so you can just redo all your effects, which is really, really nice.
yeah. So that's why I'm planning on playing Belphimon, just because I just feel like it's gonna be really good in BT14, and I also I do enjoy playing the deck. It is a really fun deck. It really forces you to really think about what you're trashing and what you're milling, because even now I've played it in 2 locals and play tested it a handful of times, and I'm still making mistakes, like basic mistakes. I'm like trashing rookies when I need that rookie to pop it for rage mode to unsuspend and stuff like that. It's those little things, and For this set with or reprint set, I'm probably not gonna buy a box of it. Honestly, it'll probably just be a filler set or it'll be filler packs for me to grab when I don't want PT13.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, because I know some people are already getting tired of grabbing PT13. So at least at VCG when I play at locals, I have people who are like, yeah, I don't really care about PT13. Maybe the alt arts, but everything else I don't care about. So I'm like, okay.
No, good point, good point. How about you guys?
See, Gamma One, I'll try out. Just try something new, right? Play for like a tournament. If it sucks, I'll just go back to playing Black or Greymon. Just kill the
Just keep
tamer.
it simple.
It's fun. It's always fun playing it. Even though it's like a very old deck, there's so much love for the deck. It's always great to kill the tamers.
Yep. Deck
Can
is
never
strong.
love that.
Man, for me, I'm looking forward to the new Angemon stuff for the BT14 set. I think that might be a lot of fun. Right now, I'm still experimenting with Bloomlord and Rosemon, trying to figure out some good synergy for that deck right now. Mastermon's taking a back. It's just taking a nap right now. It needs a rest. I've been abusing that deck for like the past year as I've been trying to afford other decks. So I mean, I guess I'm kind of just honestly, I feel like we're all in this like same sense where it feels like the game gets awkwardly stale and it feels like it's a hard thing to shake because it feels like the only thing that really adds extra pizzazz to this game are the main sets. The RB1 set, this set's gonna flop real hard, and I think not only players but I think game shops are gonna realize that they're set taking up a lot of their space in their shops. And then you look at the EX sets, well, are only the impactful EX set on drop has been EX2. Every other EX set has just been this like, weird murmur. I mean, EX1 was kind of a joke. It's just past that. It's had some cards that have been decent that have improved other decks, but nothing's been really explosive. EX2 had so many, I mean, like 4 or 5 decks that came out of that set that were actually good and playable. Fast forward to EX3, you get Examon. That deck was great, but I felt like it's at the point where it's like really niche, and some decks counter it to the point to where it just can't go anywhere. And you look at EX4 right now. I like the Omnimon deck. I think that deck is really interesting. That's one of the decks I'm trying to figure out a great recipe to figure out how to make that deck work. But it feels like all the decks in the EX4 set are really cute, and it feel unless you're having a main set, it feels like a lot of these decks are falling short. So I feel like right now I'm just kind of waiting for the next main set. So waiting for that new Angemon deck is where I'm sitting at.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think we're all right there with you. We're waiting for something for BT14. I'm also going to be playing Angemon. My favorite Digimon, so I got to play the deck finally, now that it finally is a mainstay. But that's going to wrap up the main questions that we have for the podcast. Really quickly for everybody at home, if you guys have made it this far into the podcast and you're not sub, drop a sub down below. We're dropping this on YouTube. And if you guys just leave a like, leave a comment, all that stuff helps us grow. So we would really, really appreciate it. But another thing is, if you guys have just any questions, especially surrounding like even if it's RBO1, Digimon in general, leave a comment down below because I will definitely start to get to commented questions during podcasts as well. But for everybody as a going away question, we kind of started doing this in the earlier. We're going to get back to it, but we're going to give everybody kind of a farewell question, and I want to know what your favorite retro games are. So anything that came no later than 2010 for you guys. What's your favorite ones?
Well, this is like super hard for me because Digimon is my first card game, so like I don't really have any. I have no experience playing any others.
No, that's okay. You don't have to have a favorite one if you weren't playing back then. Even if you have, if you think of one that's like most impactful, you could say that too for sure for you, Austin.
I would say then Yu-Gi-Oh. I never got to play it, and I always get told not to play it, so that's fair enough. But it's had the most childhood resident. I just went back home actually and just like found a bunch of old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool."
That's awesome.
Half of these went through the washer, so like that's great to know. Or half of them were fake because I got like it's like some fake Exodia card.
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
the sanctioned wrist, right wrist. Like that's it.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, I would say Yu-Gi-Oh probably,
Nice.
even though I never got to play it.
I know for me, I would probably say this one's actually pretty funny. For me, I'd say either there's two games I really want to bring up. It's either the Duel Masters card game, and that one was more of a long-staying card game. That was the first card game I picked up that wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh. So I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was super super small, and then they came out with Duel Masters. That was my first time ever playing like two card games at the same time. But the thing with Duel Masters that I really liked is we got really really into it, and we were getting like the monthly letters where you get like a new card magnet of a card that
Oh,
was coming out in the set, and I still have some of them at my mom's house on like the side of the fridge. So that's really really cool. We love that card, but
that
having
is
the
kind of
ripples
cool.
that it had like into card games in general with like cards like or with games like Battle Spirits and stuff like that, and how much influence it has on all these different games is really really cool. So I love Duel Masters for that. But the next game that I really want to talk about was the Mega Man NT Warrior card game. That card game died
Ooh.
so fast. It got like one set and like two starter decks or something like that. But Mega Man was like my favorite like IP for so long. So definitely love that one for a retro card game for sure.
I didn't even know they had a card
Yeah, I
game.
know, right?
I guess if we're talking about retro card games, before 2010, I mean, I played Pokemon, I've played Magic the Gathering, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh. I would definitely say that Yu-Gi-Oh has had the longest lasting effects on me.
Mm-hmm.
So that game would definitely be my most important. I sniffed Battle Spirits a little bit, but it was so wonky that it was laughable at that point when it tried to make its first launch in America.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely say Yu-Gi-Oh has been the most important one to me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it looks like we all got into Yu-Gi-Oh. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is like one of those things you just get into, right? And then I collected Pokemon back when it was like back in its heyday, old OG cards.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it's either Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic for me, just because all my older cousins play Magic too as well. So watching them play was also super fun.
Oh, that's pretty
Also,
cool.
they didn't make up any of the rules like how I did with Yu-Gi-Oh, so
They
it
actually
felt
knew what they
nice
were
to actually
doing.
watch it.
No, awesome, man, awesome. Well, yeah, that's gonna wrap up the questions. So, if we don't have anything else, you guys, everybody, just so you know, we're gonna have Neon's YouTube channel linked down below. So you guys are interested to see just more of his opinions and some of his content, check it out for sure. But this is me, Monster, with the Oppas and Neon, and we're gonna be out. Take care, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.